just finished playing everything that's part of Loomian Legacy Veils of Shadow so far, and there's a lot to unpack, so I'm going to tell you about it. Before we get started, though, I just need to let you know for legal reasons that Loomian Legacy is created by Llama Train Studio within Roblox. It's a non-profit game loosely inspired by Pokemon, and please support the official creators. You probably know this, but Llama Train Studio started in game development by making a Pokemon fan game called Pokemon Brick Bronze. I have a more in-depth video on it called The Best Pokemon Game You've Never Heard Of. I probably have it linked up in the card up in the corner, but I'm not sure. The only things about it that are super important to this video in particular are that it's made by Llama Train Studio, who were at the time known as the Pokemon Brick Bronze group, and it was set in a region called Roria, and had towns by the names of Midas Town, Sephiroth City, and Cheshire Town, among others, and had characters by the names of Jake and Tess. It's also worth pointing out that at the end of the game, Jake falls into a portal created by the mythical Pokemon Hoopa, and we have no idea what happened to him. Moving on, after that, but prior to making Loomian Legacy, Llama Train Studios, I will refer to LTS as short, made a game known as Ultimate Hide and Seek. Overall, this game isn't really related to Brick Bronze or Loomian Legacy, other than the fact that it was made by LTS. Well, and that it works as the link between the two universes. After Ultimate Hide and Seek had been out for a few months, LTS released a video titled Worlds Apart. The video starts with the people in Ultimate Hide and Seek talking, and then a different text box, reminiscent of the ones in Brick Bronze and Loomian Legacy, shows up. It says, excuse me, and the camera pans over to someone who looks quite a lot like Tess from Brick Bronze, but in the body style of Loomian Legacy. She says, I was wondering if you've seen this boy. She then hands the hide-and-seek girl a photo, and we zoom into a picture of Tess and Jake in Brick Bronze, body style and all. I'm sorry, but he doesn't look familiar, hide-and-seek girl says. When did you last see him? It then zooms into Tess, and she remembers a scene from Brick Bronze, specifically the last scene Jake's in. He's falling into a portal created by Hoopa, something we saw before but didn't know the aftermath of. Then, we get to something we didn't see. Jake, as he falls down through, looks at his limbs, and then his whole body starts glowing completely white. Then, we're in a town that looks very similar to Midas Town, in both Brick Bronze and Loomian Legacy. Jake, or at least we can assume it's Jake, falls out of the portal through the sky, stands up, and looks at his arms and sees that he's now a Loomian Legacy character model. Where am I? He asks. Then, we see a rabbit-like thing that we now know as the beginner Loomian Embit hop to him. Then, the trailer ends. Now that we're like 5 minutes into this video, let's get going talking about Loomian Legacy itself. By the way, to try and make this video less than an hour long, I'm only going to be talking about story elements from the game, not everything else about it. I have a full series playing it, as do a lot of other people more talented than me, so if you want that stuff, go watch one of those. You start in Midas Town, and right off the bat, something interesting is happening. An archaeologist, who you quickly find out to be your dad, sees a rock with glowing letters that move. You get there, and just as quickly as it changed, the text disappears entirely, and the rock breaks apart and flies into the air. Nothing story-related happens for a while, but you do get your beginner Loomian. The next story thing that happens is in Gale Forest. You've heard that something has been up with the guardian spirit Duskit, so you investigated. You've come across one of the chunks of the dark rock that broke apart at the start of the game, and when you send it to the lab, you encounter Duskit, but it's corrupted. Corrupt Loomians are a thing in this game, obviously. And how they work is that they're more powerful versions of themselves and give really good drops when you beat them. But they can't be caught. They can only be defeated. You then do defeat it, of course, and it becomes a roaming legendary, which is something I really like that this game does well, and all legendaries in it, other than a single one called Mutagon, are roaming. Your dad calls you to tell you that the rocks react to light, and there's a veil of shadow in the way of something that you can break using an app for your Looming Watch that can create a lot of light. Nothing story-related happens until a little while after you take on the first battle theater. You went into a cave with a strong crystal to power up your Loomians with the new app, only to find out that the guard sent in someone else. He says that his name isn't important, and he needs the energy in the crystal to get home. You might be able to tell who he is, but if you can't, I'm not going to say anything. You battle him, and when you beat him, he says that he needs to see more of this world, and you're not quite sure what this means. You aren't actually required to break the Veil of Shadow in the way. It's completely optional and just gives you a move manual, so if you don't, the next thing that happens is that you have your second encounter with a group of rivals by the name of Mabel, Lucy, and Lucas. I didn't mention them before because it didn't have any significance to the story, but here it does, so it's worth noting. You have to help them by using the flashlight app you got to clear the way, but when you do, they battle you, for no apparent reason. The next thing that happens is you see a few monks ganging up on someone who looks like their leader. The monks appear to be corrupted, with red eyes and faded, sickly-looking skin. The guy they're ganging up on says something about a cursed rock, and they chase him into a cave, with him yelling for someone to help him. You follow him into the cave, and find out that it's called Igneous Hollow, and is a volcano. This is worth noting, because in Brick Bronze, there's a volcano known as Mount Igneous that's very similar to this place. Regardless, when you get inside it, you're attacked. Yes, attacked, that's the wording they use, by corrupt monks. You get to the end of the cave, and you get attacked by one last, more powerful, corrupt monk. You beat him, and when he returns to normal, because having some small creatures you control get the crab kicks kick out of them, definitely makes you stop being mind-controlled. Someone with much more imposing hair, who appears to be the real leader of the monks, Akio, comes to you. He says that there was a crash in the pagoda, and while Ikazune, you don't know what that is yet, probably didn't turn the monks violent, there is an old text from long ago about something similar to this. You beat the next battle star, who actually turns out to be Akio, leader of the pagoda, and he gives you the incredibly cool Controlled Burn application for the Lumi Watch. He also tells you that he found the old text, and it tells of a, quote, ancient power that could turn the hearts of even the most noble of men. The next thing to happen comes in Sephiroth City, the next town. You have another run-in with the rivals, and Lucas invites you to come with him to take a tour of Politcorp, a place that makes a bunch of Loomians and cyberhuman enhancements since the battle theater is closed. Mabel objects and makes him and Lucy battle you for no clear reason. When you beat them, though, she does eventually agree to let you come with. You go into Politcorp, and right as you're getting onto Polit campus, the mysterious trainer comes up to you again. He says that you and him got off on the wrong foot, and he immediately wants to make amends. Then Mabel butts in, and is head over heels for him right away. She asks who he is, and he realizes he's never introduced himself. "My name is Jake," he says. Informs you that he's been investigating them, hoping they can help him with a certain predicament. Maple invites him on the tour, and Lucas quietly wonders that Mabel just invited a stranger all on her own, and you go on a tour. The tour takes like 20 minutes of gameplay, so I ain't gonna bore you with it. The only important thing comes near the end of the tour, but that's not really relating to the story so much as the lore. So I'm not going to talk about it here. Yes, there's a difference. When the tour finishes, you meet both the Battlestar of the city, Faust, and the leader of Politcorp, Dr. Vanta. If you want to know what really happens, watch my Let's Play of it. The only thing I should point out here is that early in the tour, Jake had expressed interest in taking the Polit keycard the tour guide had, and then, after the tour, she notices it's missing. Vanta gives some mysterious dialogue about something very exciting happening, and you head out to challenge the battle theater. After you beat her, you see a cutscene of Jake sneaking around Politcorp. He sees a chunk of stone inside a glass case. That chunk of stone is obviously the stone I'm collecting because of all the corruption it causes, if you can't tell. Dr. Vanta walks in and tells the scientist to begin the awakening. Dun, dun, dun! Jake realizes that's the owner of Politcorp, and Vanta says to the scientist, "The first step is to awaken our creation. Bring it to life." Then a big Mewtwo-esque thing appears to wake up after some cables connected to it start to glow. "The awakening was a success, sir," the scientist says. "Protagon is live. Vitals are stable." Vanta monologues that the world will always have war, and he wants to create an army of Protagon and sell it to the highest bidder. Jake runs out, and Vanta notices and tries to stick some guards on him. You walk into Pollitt campus, and right as you are about to, you encounter Jake again, running out of there. He says that there's not time to explain, but he gives you a key card and tells you to do whatever you can to stop Vanta. Then, directly following him, 2 guards run out and ask you if you've seen him. They say that you should report anything relating to him directly to the police. Yeah, that's definitely gonna happen. You do some searching, and eventually you find a back door into Pollitt Corp through the sewers. Ew. You work your way around the place, not doing much of interest for a while, until eventually you find a Pollitt gold key card. You keep working your way around the area with the gold key card until eventually you find Vanta. He tells the scientist to perform a test, and another set of cables starts glowing, and Protagon becomes corrupt. He then tells the scientist to let Protagon free and stick it on you. You beat the corrupt Protagon and turn it into a roamer. Then, Vanta gives you a cliché villain speech and heads out. You then use the Lumi transporter to warp the Dark Rock back to your parents. You get outside and get a call from Dad. Then, in the middle of the call, Lucas calls you and says that he hasn't heard from you or Jake since leaving the theater a while ago. You tell him what you did, and he's exasperated, but he's glad you're okay. He tells you that he, Mabel, and Lucy are gonna head out to Route 8, and you should too. Problem is, you can't. Not like there's some story reason or something that's gonna happen and is forcing you not to, but actually because LTS is yet to make it. So, that's everything so far. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, how'd you like the new video? This is a very different style to what I normally do, but I actually really like making this type of video. It's a lot more fulfilling to me as a creator, so I think I'm gonna keep making more like this. I have a few ideas for more scripted stuff lined up, but these are a lot more time-consuming to make, so I'm also gonna make more of my Let's Play stuff. Don't worry, that ain't going away anytime soon. Speaking of time-consuming, though, this video took a really long time to make. Not like it was hard or something, it was actually really easy. But I had to watch through all of my videos playing this game and write down the story. That was annoying. At least I gave myself a ton of watch time, though. That's a plus. By the way, if you don't know, I've started live streaming. I've heard they don't do well for the algorithm, but they're a lot of fun, and they do seem to draw in new viewers, so I'm gonna keep doing them. Watch them. Bye!